like to call the work session to order and turn it over to Mr. Wilk.
Thank you, Mr. McKinney. It's great to see all of you out tonight. We're going to begin tonight with a communications update. Ms. Cherney's going to come out of the back, and we're going to talk about all the great things that we've been communicating. Very proud of all of our athletic teams. We've had a very successful fall. This is a little bit of this is an ad that actually we used at the Alabama High School Athletic Association's championship play in Birmingham, and I thought she really captured the essence of our volleyball team with this photo, and we got to brag a little bit on our school system at the state level. So, Ms. Cherney, talk to us just a little bit about communications tonight, please.
Yeah, it's been a busy fall so far, great things happening, and we were presented with a pretty unique opportunity here from the State Department. They're launching something called Alabama Loves Public Schools. It's going to be a website. They have a Twitter or X account that launched this morning. And the website is still pending, but it should be here in the coming days, honestly, based on their email this morning.
Any day.
So we actually submitted a video to be featured on this website. They're going to highlight all the great things happening in public schools in Alabama, and so it was an honor to be able to put together a little highlight reel, if you will, of everything going on here in Orange Beach.
Here in Orange Beach, we are grateful for our vibrant community and city that wholeheartedly support our school system. Our top priority is providing a safe and nurturing learning environment for every student. With a remarkable 1-to-13 teacher-to-student ratio, we ensure personalized attention for each child. 10% of our students were in the 99th percentile on the 2024 Alabama ACAP testing. In state rankings, Orange Beach City Schools placed 3rd in math, 3rd in science, and 7th in English language arts. 100% of our 3rd graders are reading at or above grade level, and the class of 2024 celebrated a perfect 100% graduation rate. In athletics, our 4-time state champion softball team has been recognized as MaxPrep's 2024 national champions. An impressive 96% of our students participate in co-curricular or extracurricular activities. Exciting developments are on the horizon with a new $46.1 million athletic complex currently under construction. Our musical theater students even had the incredible opportunity to perform alongside Farn. In Orange Beach, we live the Mako way, upholding our core values of respect, honesty, trust, caring, and integrity every day. Alabama loves public schools, and so do we here at Orange Beach City Schools.
Wow. Fantastic job. I thought she did a great job of capturing who we are in Orange Beach City Schools. And to have done that and understand that in a short period of time is just remarkable. And of course, our achievements in a short period of time have been pretty remarkable too. So they'll see that again probably during the report card reveal. But I would imagine there's going to be a little bit of editing done to include some information.
Yeah, there will be some exciting updates.
Yeah. So you haven't seen the last of that video, to say the least. Any questions on Ms. Cherney?
Great job. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much. You've done great work.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Very good. Finance update. He's so excited tonight. We're excited for him.
Like following Alyssa, you know?
There you go.
Talk about finances. Please, sir.
Yes, sir.
So you'll notice the first quarter is gone on this. I tried to make this a little bit bigger so we could see September and really where we finished the year. September, obviously we knew would be a pretty strong month. In that revenue of $7.6 million is actually 2 payments to Bayer Construction and reimbursements from the city, so that's why that number's a little bit higher than normal, which also follows down the expenditure line there at that $3.9 million. So as you look at that and you think, ooh, that's a lot for September, it is more than usual, but because it should be. Total revenue for the year, sorry, 45 million, that's 103% above, or sorry, 3% over our budget, and then expenses of basically 41 million, 95% budget. So, you go ahead.
So if I'm looking at that, we're well within our budget.
Yes, sir, and I'll explain that. We've kind of skipped over these next two slides throughout the last couple of months because it really didn't mean a whole lot at that time, so there were a lot of things left to do. But as we look at this revenues and expenditures and these pie charts, just note that with compared to budget, we were plus or minus 1% in each category. So even with our very fluid budget that we have, you know, everybody did a really good job saying, here's what our plan is, here's what we're going to spend, and we stuck to it pretty close.
Correct.
Major revenues, they're just kind of continuing along, almost 37 million, I believe 16 and a half of that is reimbursement for the athletic complex. So that's included in the 23.8 million with the city appropriation and all of that. And then what everybody's been waiting for, if you follow the September line all the way down, you can see about the third line from the bottom, ending fund balance of right at $7.3 million. Just below that, you can see the 1.9. That is our average monthly expenditures. If you take the 1.9 and divide it by the 7.3, it gives us 3.71 months on hand in reserve. So that is an addition of a month and a half versus last year, which is right at
Love seeing that grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
where we want it to be.
Yay.
Question?
I think that's remarkable that we've stuck to our budget and that our budget was what we anticipated. It's very different being in a brand-new school system, trying to estimate what the costs are going to be and what the income's going to be. But given the parameters, I think we've done an excellent job. Mr. Gray, your staff, huge staff of two. Great
It's
job.
been a month and a half for sure.
Yeah, so great job bringing all this together, and for all the department heads and school people, nice job maintaining that budget, and especially those of you that have been busy writing grants and bringing in extra revenue. Kudos to everyone.
Yes, thank you, guys.
Very much.
I want to just mention graduation rate. This was a illustration that we put out on social media just a couple of days ago, and this is for the class of 2024, and their graduation rate, as we've certified and as the state has accepted, is 100%. Now, when we reveal the report card on Friday, it will use that report card for the high school and for the school system, the graduation rate class of 2023, which was 98%. So there's not a whole lot of difference. Just want to reiterate some things that we've already explained as we sent this information
When
home.
you say Friday, a week from tomorrow?
Yes,
Yeah.
week from tomorrow. I'm sorry, it is a week from tomorrow, not tomorrow. Students' graduation rate, everything's based upon a cohort as they all enter the ninth grade. If students enter, they become part of that cohort in the 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. If they leave, we have to keep track of where they go, and hopefully they're not a dropout or something of that nature. We code everything there in the registrar's office at the high school, whether they're home, private, parochial, however, they're leaving us. And we get that four-year cohort graduation rate simply is divided by the total number of students who've earned a regular diploma within those 4 years. And it's, of course, all uploaded to the federal government and everything. It has not changed the way that's computed in the last several years. We get no credit for those that just are completers who complete their IEP. They have to actually graduate from our school in order to be considered part of this a completer, excuse me, not a completer, but a graduate. What questions do you have of graduation rate?
None. Thank you for the explanation, because I know that even though I was familiar with it, I know that some were asking those questions. I saw them on social media. I saw some out there, so just throwing that up there as a kind of reiterate how that's derived.
Very proud of our, not only our students, but our staff. There's a lot of maintaining records that takes place in order to keep up with all this. And, gone are the days when someone simply leaves your school and you don't know where they go. You have to keep up with it. Anyone else?
So just to reiterate, if a parent withdraws their child
Mm-hmm.
for whatever reason, even May 1st, to homeschool, to move, to whatever the case may be, they then become part of whatever that transfer was to, even if it's homeschool, and they are no longer ours and no longer count.
That is
For
correct.
us.
They're withdrawn and they're coded appropriately.
Okay.
Any others? Nash, you good? Mr. Campbell? Good with that? All right. Very proud of that graduation rate. Looking forward, it's hard to improve from 100%. We want to maintain that 100%. So no pressure, Mr. Shaw. We're going to bring.
We're going to be 101.
I'm not even going to ask about that math, okay? All right, Ms. Cherney, come back, and if you would, let's talk a little bit about Red Ribbon, okay?
Right, so Red Ribbon, well. Okay, Red Ribbon Week was a great success at both the elementary school and the middle high school. Paige and Allie and Peyton kind of led the charge on their respective campuses, and they did a fantastic job bringing this all to life. Elementary school kicked it off with the Red Ribbon Week parade, and they had a scavenger hunt across their campus that incorporated the national theme of film or live drug free, or life's a movie, film drug free. So they had the opportunity to wear some 3D glasses and interact with our kiosk and learn more about living a drug-free lifestyle. At the middle high school, they had the opportunity to pledge during their lunch waves to live drug-free and to be randomly selected for a drug test. We had 130 students take that pledge, which was incredible. So Mr. Wilkes and Mr. Shaw hosted a special assembly to honor these students and to let them know which 25 were selected for that honor. And it was a great assembly honoring those students and really seeing students choose to live the Mako way on display. I mean, having those kids all in the same room really was special. So.
It was our first all-voluntary drug test. All 25 or 26 were volunteers, and appreciate Paige is here with us tonight, and I told her I may ask her some questions. Didn't have to study for the test, Mr. Blevins. And so to date, I think we've tested almost 200 students since we began this policy. 96% of all of those, roughly that, or maybe a little bit higher, have tested negative. And for those that have tested positive, we've been able to get them the appropriate help. So, and we had that discussion during the assembly. Paige, is there anything that you'd like to add to that as far as the Red Ribbon Week?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, it was an awesome event and so very proud. 7th graders
Yes.
had the most participation, and they got what?
Free ice cream that much.
Awesome. Free ice cream.
I think we had all but maybe 12 or 13 come up and claim it, so
Yeah.
I think it was well received.
But I think the ones that didn't claim, they weren't.
Yeah.
So they all claimed it on that day, huh? They all took part. Super. Any questions for Ms. Cherney, from
No,
Ms. Page?
just great work. I love hearing that we have so many students that are people of action,
Yeah.
that are willing to not just parade around, but go out there and take charge. So that's awesome.
And they all that pledged got a wristband. So excited about the Mako way. Be drug-free. Yeah. All right, thank you so very much. Ms. Courtney, we'll talk a little bit about Alta Points and our opportunities with them. This is actually a pilot in the state of Alabama.
It is. As we near the end of the semester, I just wanted to share with you guys a little bit of data about how our students are taking advantage of the resources that are provided by AltaPoint. I think this is really important to demonstrate how many more students have the opportunity to use those services. So, you know, in case you aren't familiar with that, AltaPoint is a third-party resource that students can take advantage of having therapy sessions on campus during the day, during some non-academic classes, as well as before and after school. So they meet with them on campus. It really helps to make it accessible for students. The difference in what we're doing last year as opposed to what we're doing this year, and well, actually, I don't want to get to that slide. First, these are the resources that we have, and as you can see, the number of students that are using AltaPoint services from last year to this year has significantly increased. And one of the reasons for that increase is because the pilot program. If you want to jump to the next slide for us. Last year, students, to be able to access those resources, had to be Medicaid eligible. So many of our students did not qualify to receive those services. This year, we were able to remove all of those barriers. So regardless of student socioeconomic status, wherever they are, if they need that resource, it's available to them. And you can look to see how many more students are being served because of the elimination of those barriers. So, for instance, we have, in the high school, 31 students are being seen. 12 of those would not have been eligible last year and are now eligible this year. So I think that's a tremendous resource that we have. Just wanted you to be updated to know that that's working, that our students are taking advantage of that resource, and I think that it's become a very valuable part of what's available for our students.
How many other systems in the state are participating in something like this?
We are the first and only one at this time. So if you ever have the opportunity to support that initiative, I would hope that everyone would want to do that. We're seeing the benefits of that in our school.
Is this something like the students themselves can choose to do? Is it something where they have to be referred, or how does that work?
Yes. So as you know, we have a mental health counselor on staff that works with both the elementary school and the middle high school. So students who, what we call crisis intervention, they're in crisis, they need to talk to someone, would see her first, because there are some steps that need to be taken. Parents need to be aware. We have to make sure there's that opt-in form for participation, but she guides them through the process. She is there to provide resources and to make sure that she connects them with the appropriate resources. So while they can't just stop into the AltaPoint therapist office, Ms. Regula is there to make sure that if they need it, they take the appropriate steps to get there.
Okay.
So you mentioned barriers. One of the things that I've seen with those that are dealing with some type of mental health crisis is that they are a lot of times not willing to reach out to individuals and be face-to-face. They would rather be anonymous and submit through some type of portal. There's apps, there's all kinds of different things. Does AltaPoint offer that means for them to reach out and receive these type of services?
So those come through Lisa Regula first.
Okay.
So she sends out a monthly newsletter to both parents and students so they can get that information. They know they have her contact information. They can reach out to her. And so we also, of course, have 2 guidance counselors there on staff. So if a student preferred one or the other, they all know how and are willing and able to connect them to the right resources. We're also doing a lot in terms of classroom and individual guidance sessions. So I'm not sure if we've shared that yet, but the plan for the year is out there. Our guidance counselors are already working through that, so they know that when we have classroom guidance on suicide prevention, what they should be able to do and who they should contact if they need to. So there are a lot of places that they can go to for help.
Awesome, thank you.
And I'm sure I know the answer to this, but just for clarification, there's, no one knows that the students are doing this. It's done with discretion, or
That is correct. AltaPoint has their own office. It's not accessible. You can't see through the windows who's there. It's done very discreetly, of course, intentionally.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the athletic complex. Things were moving right along, and then it began to rain. You might recognize some of this crew here. Coach Waldrop on the left, Miss Courtney, myself, Miss Atkins in the middle there with Miss Nix, Dr. Bauer, Mr. Philip Story, and Mr. Joe Blevins there. We all did a tour a couple days ago, and of course, we'll have Mac here with us. And I think the other day we had 10 MAC members, and we've got a member of the Parent Advisory Committee, and they've done tours. If you've not been able to do a tour yet, they're at no charge to board members. And I'll be glad to do it.
There's a price.
There is a price to pay. Yes, you have to entertain me for about an hour. I do want to mention our signage is up, and we're very proud of that signage there at the corner of Mako Way and William Silvers. We did ask if we could put it on Canal Road, and we were politely told we could not. You know, that's a state right-of-way and everything. So we did the next best option. We can control that corner of the property there because it's ours. So we did a little bit of brush work, and I've got it up there. There will be on this sign some landscaping in the very near future. As a matter of fact, I'm going to talk tomorrow in our owner architect contractor meeting, OAC, about creating a change order to include some split face block that matches the back of the stadium. You can see some signs that we use from all over the nation to determine what this looks like, and this is really how it all started, and looks pretty crude. And then, of course, on the left-hand side there, you see the finished product, and if you can imagine some split-face block that'll be painted white to match the grandstands, and a little bit of maybe some greenery, some shrubbery, and so forth. It'll make a very nice entrance to that area. And when you go to the athletic complex, to the sportsplex, you're already at the athletic complex, but you go into the city's sports complex, you'll be able to see it. Any questions about that signage that's been added? That came directly from board funds, and so thank you, board members. You approved a budget that was in, okay? Gymnasium, just want to bring you up to date with some of the, and as a reminder for those of you that have seen the gym already, there are 3 points of sale on the inside of the concession stand, and we'll have closed circuit television, so you'll never miss any of the action on the court, whether it's volleyball or basketball or whatever we're doing. Plenty of opportunities to buy concessions there. I think there are about 32 displays in the entire complex that we're adding. So quite a bit of work to be done there just simply with televisions. There are a lot of amenities here in the gymnasium. Very proud of all of our restrooms. There'll be plenty of facilities, male and female. The male side, and we don't need quite as much room as we do on the female side, so we've added the family restroom to that side. We'll be able to take family members in there of our handicapped persons. I can tell you from personal experience, it's a little bit easier to handle sometimes in a family restroom. The seating capacity of that gymnasium will be 1,212, and that's about a 500 seat increase when compared to the previous facility. It was never really intended to be that much larger, but it needed to be some larger. During COVID, the Alabama High School Athletic Association surveyed every stadium and every gymnasium in the state of Alabama. And so what our architects did to develop, the seating for a 4A school, they looked at all classifications 1 through 7A, and they said, here is about what the average size is. And of course now, ours is really more along the 6, near 7A level. I can tell you, coming from a 7A school, it seated 1,500. And that was, plenty big, in other words. 180 of those chairs on the east side of the gym, that's the home side. And there's 180 chair backs with places for your drinks and so forth, cup holders. And of course, every team has its own dedicated locker room. If you come and participate in the presentation, there's a little flip chart there, and you can look at the very back page, and it shows you exactly where every team sport will be housed. And so there won't be any moving out during the off season. There really are no off seasons anymore. But every team will have their own facility. Soccer, basketball, volleyball, so forth and so on. And this new gym will be primarily a competition gym. JV and varsity in the middle school will play in the current gym. And PE will be taught in the current gymnasium. Any questions? I reminded them today that I need some updated renderings. I'm missing about 2 or 3 rows on the right-hand side. That would be the east side, as you look at that photo there. Rows of chairs that we're missing. So soon, very soon, there should be getting a rendering to me that I can show you, and it actually has the 180 chairs. So if you count that, that's not 180. We made some changes with those acoustical tiles. It was formerly a little bit of an Aztec type rendering there on the wall. Of course, you see the center hung. And what you don't see is the new scores table that we went to with all the lights, all the center hung, and all the various people that'll have to be sitting there. 10 foot of scores table was not enough. So we've increased that to 20 feet. Thus, the display on the front side is 20 feet also. It's about a 3 foot by 20 foot display. And these are the actual color schemes that you will see. Very little white. We went with a water-based application, a water-based paint, as opposed to oil, because oil has a tendency when it's white to fade. Really, the only white here would be out there in the center logo with the shark. And in the sidelines there, you see that is natural wood showing through. Any questions about the gym? Metal's going up. Hopefully, we'll get that thing dried in pretty soon, and that'll probably be the first building to be completed. Even though we started on the field house earlier than the gym, I think the gym will come off quicker because there's just a lot of open space. This display here, this rendering here is for the concession stand. You see the 3 points of sale, 3 televisions on the outside, and the 2 larger ones for the closed caption televisions there. 1 trophy case for all of our blue trophies. And they're going away from the wooden map to a glass map. Don't know if you've seen the new state championship. So we want some glass within the glass. The field house, of course, there's a dedicated 50 by 50 cheer room, vaulted ceilings there. Training room is well equipped. Some exam tables, taping tables, storage units, hydrotherapy tubs, high density storage, and of course 16 workout stations with ample weights and equipment. This is a rendering from the home side. The home side of the stadium will be the west side, so we'll not have to sit and face the sun. Our guests can do that. Down below, what you see is our ticket booth, concession stand, and of course the field house. Any questions?
Yes, so as this progresses, was this permitted as one entire project, or are we going to be able to get substantial completion on individual buildings and possibly
We'll have to
occupy?
ask that question.
Okay.
It was done as one complete project. I have seen them turn various aspects of it loose beforehand. Naturally, we want to be in the stadium Alberta week next year.
Absolutely.
Fingers crossed.
Okay.
Hope's not a strategy, but that's about all we've got right now. The goalposts are actually white. There's no yellow on the field, so we didn't see a need to paint the goalpost that color. This is a rendering from inside, underneath the pavilion here, back at the field house. There's a good bit of glass on the side there. These are the cubicles up in the coaches' offices. We'll have 19 of these. You can see it here as well for the assistant coaches with the conference table in the background. This is actually what the conference room looks like. Some nice full exam tables. There are 6 of those again. There's a student lounge up top. Looks very similar to some of the furniture that we've got at the Adult Fitness Center. And this is just a look down from up top into the lobby area about the middle of the field house. Any questions about the field house?
Pretty impressive.
This is the interior of the field house here, left-hand side. This is the primary lobby area with the weight room behind it, nutrition area that you can just barely see on the inside of the glass. It's really a small bar, and it's two-sided. When I say it's two-sided, there's a place to work in between, and there are 2 sides to it. A place for stools on one side and just grab and go on the other side. This rendering down below is the latest rendering of the actual strength and conditioning room, the weight room. And you can see that it's open to the 2nd floor. There are displays here up on the wall. We changed again the acoustical tiles from the, what I call the Aztec look, to something a little more bold and looks a little more like Orange Beach. 16 stations here, all types of exercise equipment. Cheer room. The vaulted ceiling is over 20 feet tall here, so 50 by 50. Actually, over here, as you're looking down into the weight room, it's a little bit wider than just 50 feet. This is a typical locker room down below. This is actually a rendering of the wrestling locker room. So if you're standing on Canal, upper left-hand corner is what you're looking at here with the cheer room. Wrestling room's underneath it, and again, it's 50 by 50. Questions or comments? Pavilion's coming on nicely. We've put a lot of metal up the last couple of weeks, 60 yards underneath, and this is exactly what it will look like with the exception of the coach's box. We'll go all the way down to the 20-yard line. Same turf underneath the pavilion as in the stadium, same lighting system in the pavilion as there is in the stadium. And it's all LED type lighting. So it'll flash, it'll move, it'll dim. You can turn them completely off and then turn them right back on. There will also be a net here where we can drop in the middle of this pavilion and practice 2 teams at one time. So if it's raining and we need to take infield for baseball and infield for softball, they can get on either side and do that. And the goalpost turns. And yes, there is a net that catches the balls, keeps them from going out onto the middle canal. We did think about that as well. Around this whole facility, there is a very nice 8-foot architectural style aluminum fence. So when you walk up, it's not just chain link like you would typically look at. It's going to be really nice, commercial style. That is a look from the canal, and that OB sign is supposed to light up. That louver system is all metal. If you've ever noticed at the wharf, they have to paint quite often at the wharf, all that metal, because of our salt air, and that'll be the same here. Get a little bit of an idea what the soccer net and the football goals look like underneath there. Of course, all those metal posts are padded, and that'll be a custom blue. Grandstands, really excited about that. You should see some grandstands going up in the next couple of weeks. We're about 40 feet with the grandstands on the west side. Press box is about 48 feet, and yes, we can film off the top of the press box. What I would want you to know about the press box, you're going to look at it and you're going to say, is that really big enough? And the answer is yes, because anything greater than 500 square feet must have an elevator, and elevators are extremely costly. And it was not like you can go 400 feet on one side and 100 feet on the other side. When you exceed 500, they both get elevators. So there was no way to put the visiting team in a press box on one side to avoid that. It's a cumulative, summative, 500 square feet. You have to have an elevator. And one of the things that I'm most excited about here, when you go to other places and there's someone tall sitting in front of you, it's hard to see. The differential between seats is typically 12 inches. Ours are 18 inches. So we'll be 6 inches higher than most other bleachers. And to me, that makes a big difference.
Especially if you're short.
Especially if you're short or if you're sitting behind someone really tall and, you know. So 230 chair back seats, and I think you've all heard me say this before. It's chair back, bleacher, chair back, bleacher. Planks are plenty wide. They're 10 feet wide. Those grandstands are. The plank itself, the aisles start at 6 feet. So when you go to other places, you'll see aisles start about 3 feet. Well, for the first 3 rows, you can't see anything above the players on the sideline. Well, here, we're already up 6 feet. Should not have to be any tents on the sidelines unless we need one for concussions and injuries that we just want to, get out of the line of sight, so to speak. But should not have any problems being able to see over cheerleaders, over players, to see the action on the field. And there is a viewing platform on the visitor side where they can set up additional cameras. But top of the press box is made for cameras. So you're up about 48 feet. By the time you stand up, you're at 50 some odd feet. It should be a pretty good view. Questions? Going to do just a few more slides. That is a picture from what is really the javelin throw runway. And that's a pretty awesome pic. You can see where you can film from the home side. And of course, this right here, on top of the field house, is really a screen for the HVAC systems that sit up on sort of a mezzanine of sorts. That is the entry to the stadium. There is but one entry for all into the stadium there, and that has actually been erected and looks awesome. It's a really nice entryway. That, of course, is from what I call the black box parking lot. And again, the lighting system is all LED. It's an Ephesus lighting system, and it's state-of-the-art. Super nice. And we've talked all about the large displays in the past. Our screen is a high-quality screen. It's a 24 by 36 inch, excuse me, 24 by 24 foot by 36 foot display. And the only thing that's static are the small 3x6 signs at the bottom. It's basically a very large computer screen. And that input with the exterior scoreboard is 40 feet wide and it's 50 feet tall. And it should be in before Christmas. And yes, we'll have to wrap it so it does not get dirty. That'll be interesting. Center hung we've talked about, scorers table we've talked about. So all in all, everything is progressing like it needs to. We've had quite a few change orders. We're managing those. We've got our contingencies, we've got our allowances. I'm up to date on all those things, so I feel pretty good about where we are right now. What questions do you have about the athletic complex?
Nothing for fun.
I don't have any. I think the most important thing for me was to be able to walk the site and see it, to let it kind of come alive, because, you know, you can see the pictures, but to actually walk into those rooms and see the tradesmen actually getting in there, it was a lot of fun. I mean, I was glad to see the progress.
Yeah. Ms. Nix, anything from your visit?
No, but you said something about the rain kind of put us, are we behind? Or-
Well, can't look at Mr. McKinney and say this. We're always behind in construction, seemingly. And truly, we had a November 6th pour with a lot of cement, and that has to cure to some degree before we start putting block on it. So, you know, when the masons get rolling again, I think you'll see it move along really quick-like. The metal has been hampered because of the rain. Once we get it dried in, it can really move. But there's still a lot of steel work, and there's a lot that we don't see: plumbing, electrical, and mechanical. When you actually get to do the tour and you look up and you're like, man, they really have been working. There's quite a bit of mechanical and plumbing and electrical that's already been done. So,
What was the date they gave us for completion?
July 2025.
You did a very good job of using a lot of words to not tie yourself into an answer one way or the other.
Yeah. Well, we're going to continue. You know, we'll have a marketing plan that we're going to release probably the 1st of January, and I hit them pretty good a couple of weeks ago, and I said, I need to know if there's anything outstanding that you see that's just on back order, that's really going to cause a huge delay. And one time, we're in the midst of 3 different building projects. All of Texas froze, and there was resin in Texas and resins in plywood, and it's in paint and so forth. Well, it just pretty much halted everything. You can't predict those type things. So we don't know what the future holds, but I believe we've been very proactive in ordering things and making sure all the work that we could get done. We're not waiting on one area as opposed to the other. We're working on every area, and they've really done a very good job of organizing that work. And if you walk the work site, there's no trash. It's just little things like that that I've noticed with this group. The planning, the organization, the safety is a priority with them.
How's communication been?
Awesome.
Okay.
they've given me access to the Procore software. And so I'm in there quite a bit. So, but I can see all the submittals, I can see all the RFIs, know exactly what's going on.
I've been impressed with their work days. Some trains are working 7 days a week.
Well, and it's a local guy.
Yeah.
First name is Danny. You know.
Yeah, he is.
And the rumor is electricians and everybody else better be on their game, because they'll put it up. And you'll be wondering how you're gonna get it back in that cinder block. But he does a great job. There have been as many as 75 masons working at one time on that site. And I was actually speaking to Mr. Tyler about their facility, their career and technical education facility. And Danny did the block work on that. He was bragging on it, and he's also gonna do Gulf Shores High School. So when you've got quality people working, you've got a good contractor, great architects, good things will happen. We can't control the weather.
I've seen them work in the rain too.
I have to, but not with block. They have with a lot of others.
With block.
Yeah, block is pretty much eliminated with that. That's all I have this evening.
Okay. That's it, then we have to start the next meeting at 5:30.
Because we've announced it that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I anticipate future announcements saying following the work session, we will begin the board meeting. So we did not do that on this announcement, but maybe in the future. So we will adjourn this work session and the board meeting will start at 5:30. At this time, I would like to call Paige forward. Paige Lipke, she is the Red Ribbon leader and she is going to lead us in the invocation. Thank you, Paige.
Tonight for the invocation, I'm going to read the first few verses of Psalms 138, which is a psalm of thanksgiving. Thanksgiving has been on my heart, obviously, because of the holiday in a couple of weeks, but also just especially with the work session. I'm very, very thankful to have one of the Fuchsia schools, be the school that I've spent my high school career. So, Psalms 138, verse 1 through 3. I will give you thanks with all my heart. I will sing your praise before the heavenly beings. I will bow down toward your holy temple and give thanks to your name for your constant love and truth. You have exalted your name and your promise above everything else. On the day I called, you answered me. You increased strength within me. As I'm Lord, bow down as prayer, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the many blessings you have given us. Thank you for the wonderful city that we live in. I also thank you for the school system, our City schools, and the many wonderful people, the staff and the admin and the school board. God, I pray that you will guide our community and be present in it, and I pray that tonight you will guide our decisions and our actions at this meeting. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to call the meeting to order, and at this time, we will have the Pledge of Allegiance, and it will be led by Paige Lipke and Peyton Proctor. Will you please stand?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you would, remain there for just a moment. Mr. Wilkes.
It is so great to have the two of you here. They are our representatives for Red Ribbon Week. Superintendent's Red Ribbon Week is actually the official title of it, and we had a chance to visit together, and they've got wonderful projects going on in our community. And Peyton, I'm going to ask you a little bit, if you'll talk about your project and what you've been doing in regards to bring awareness of drug awareness to our schools and to involve our law enforcement officials and veterans, if you would, please.
So for my Red Ribbon project, I have been interviewing veterans and asking them questions about how they served and what it was like and how they could explain how how people should not use drugs and how they can really affect your life and how you will.
Peyton, what grade are you in?
Six.
Sixth grade. And what is your favorite subject in school? Oh, I love it.
I like it.
Any particular reason you like math?
I just like it. I like solving problems.
Okay, hang around. Come to every work session, please. Or just
Looking forward to
somebody
you
else.
telling us that after the 7th grade.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. We're excited about what you're doing in our schools. Do you have any hobbies, any interest out there outside of school?
Art and music.
Well, that means you're using both sides of your brain, so that is very good, very good. And Paige was our senior representative. Allie could not be with us tonight. Paige, tell us a little bit about your project. I know we spoke a little bit about it during the work session, but just a general recap of what you've done.
Yeah, my main goal was to get students to be the ones to initiate the whole drug-free message. So with that, we came up with the idea of having students pledge to be drug-free very boldly on a big poster, have their signatures, and by signing it, they also volunteered to enter a drawing to be voluntarily drug tested, and we selected 25. I was also, I think I was the 25th voluntarily being drug tested, so, and there were rewards with that. We'll all get chicken biscuits, and like Ms. Turney said, the 7th grade had the most signatures overall, so they got free ice cream. So it was just, my whole goal was to just have a very positive atmosphere with the whole experience, and to really get the students to be the ones to really spread that message.
So tell us a little bit about yourself academically. What's your favorite subject?
I would also have to say math and chemistry, but chemistry is math in the form of science.
Okay, yes, pretty good, huh? And for fun, you are a drum major, and you're also heavily involved in the arts. Anything else?
I mean, I like being active. I played volleyball and basketball up until high school, and then I played freshman and sophomore year, so I do like sports.
Yeah, absolutely. And I told her I could not report out officially tonight anything in regards to the ACT score. But do you want to share with anyone here tonight, perhaps, what your ACT score was in the month of October of this year? 36. She scored a 36. And she's so very humble about it all. I would have a 36 T-shirt on. I'd award it tonight, you know. But Paige, we're super proud of that. That is the highest score in school system history. Of course, it can't get any higher than the 36. But she has promised that she's going to do it again, a repeat, maybe improve just a little bit on the test in March. So we're excited about that, guys. And thank you so much for being leaders in our schools. Board members, do you have any questions or any comments?
No, just thank you for being leaders. I mean, it's awesome for you to stand in the front and kind of lead that pack. And your excitement is contagious. I've seen you play sports too. You didn't talk about that. You're actually really good at soccer. So that was one thing you didn't share. So thank you both.
Thank you both for doing what you do.
I know Peyton is probably very smart too. I just don't know her as well, but I'm going to brag on Paige because she helps us tutor in the mornings. And I was out last week with my new grandbaby being born, and I called to see how it went because I always help the upper level students, and they said Paige got right in there and just took your place, and they were all satisfied with the help that they got. So she's wonderful at helping others too.
Very good. Guys, please join us on stage and we'll get a quick photo.
We can have roll call, please.
Mr. McKinney,
Present.
Dr. Bauer,
Here.
Ms. Robinson,
Here.
Ms. Nix,
Here.
Mr. Stewart.
We have a quorum. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. You've seen the agenda posted. The chair would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion by Ms. Nix, second by Dr. Bauer. Those in,
That was Shannon.
oh, was that Shannon?
It was me.
I need a better hearing aid.
I'm quiet.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. Consideration of the previous minutes of October the 10th. Chair would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion by Ms. Nix, second by Ms. Robinson. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I abstained because I was not present. The motion carries. Recognition of guests.
Mr. Blevins?
We have, in addition to the family here, we have our extended family with the MAC, so I want to welcome all of our MAC members with us this evening. We have Misty Payne with us, and I believe everybody else is associated with MAC or on the fam. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Blevins.
Did we have anybody sign up for public comments?
We do not.
Announcements?
All right, we've got a special presentation at this time. The Mako Academics Arts and Athletic Club members are here tonight. Mr. Fettner, if you'd like to come down and maybe you'd like to say a few words before we get everybody on stage and do the big check presentation for another $40,000. We're super appreciative, sir, of everything that the MAC does for our students, academically, in regards to the arts, and certainly in regards to the athletics as well. So thank you guys for all that you do.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank y'all for giving us the opportunity to come and be recognized, but also to recognize y'all and thank y'all for all you do. We know there's a lot of countless hours that are put into being on the board as we have our own board and spend countless hours as well trying to raise money. And the sole purpose is to get money into the schools for academics, for arts, for athletics. The presentation earlier with the athletic facility and the tour that we got to take earlier last week was very impressive. And as Dr. Bauer said, walking through the facility and getting to actually see it, it brings it to life, and there's a lot of good going on. And we got a lot of excitement. We have finished up mostly the sponsorship portion of our fundraising. That usually starts in August when our year starts and runs through the first of the year. We've already been able to make a $75,000 presentation to the school. Now we're coming with another $40,000. Going into next year, we are already in the beginning stages of the Seafood Fest. More to come out from that. We're hoping to have a big event and putting a lot of good work into that. We have a golf tournament also in the spring and some other things we're doing, parking cars at the Mullet Toss, always a good time, and things like that we're doing to raise money. And the sole purpose of that is to get it into the schools. So we're excited to come tonight with a $40,000 check. Matt, you cannot deposit this one. We've already given you the actual real check. But this was just for the photo op. So yeah, it would not go through the teller window drawer. But I would like to recognize some of our board members that are here with us. Ryan Beebe is here. If you would come up, Ryan. Marlo Webb and Monica Covington are here from our board, and we could bring the check up and
Let's come on stage and get a photo, please. All right, our second announcement tonight.
Call me Nelson.
Mr. Chris Shaw has been in the road today. Mr. Shaw, if you'll make your way to the microphone. He went up to the Alabama State Department of Education, their meeting today, and received a wonderful honor on behalf of Orange Beach High School. We once again are an A+ School of Distinction.
That's correct.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about that experience, sir?
Sure. It's always an honor and privilege when you get to go to the State Board of Education, and the best of the best. All the schools throughout the state are being recognized for all kinds of academic accolades. Governor Ivey was there this morning, ran the meeting. Of course, Dr. Mackey, our state school superintendent, was there, and then Jackie Ziegler, our school board representative, was there. This award is based on the increase in the number of students who are taking the AP. We increased about 15 more students that are doing that compared to last year, and we had about 50 more exams that we're giving. We also had increased our percentage of 3 or higher, which is a qualifying score, from 45% to 60%. Wow. And so it was a great honor, and got recognized, and Dr. Mackey is very impressed what we're doing here in Orange Beach, and of course everybody recognizes, everybody turns their heads, Orange Beach, and very good reputation across the state. So it was a great honor this morning.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Do you guys have any questions before we get a photo?
No, great work.
Come on stage, sir, please. Our third announcement this evening, very proud to present this report to our board. We want to congratulate Mr. Randy Steinlage, our chief mechanic and only mechanic, for his outstanding work in regards to bus safety. We had a deficiency report. The State Department came down and evaluated all of our buses, 15 of those, and there were 0 citations. And we really appreciate him keeping our buses up and running safely and on the road. So please, a round of applause for Mr. Steinlage tonight. Fourth announcement, then I'm going to add one here towards the end, but I want to recognize several dates that are up and coming. We've got Parenting Day at the middle school, high school on the 19th. We've got several this year actually signed up for that. Do you remember how many at the middle school, high school? 71, so that's a pretty big, good size improvement. Did we top 390 at the elementary school? 391 at the elementary school. So, well, okay, we'll make an exception or something, but very excited. You know, this is something we started 3 years ago. It's really catching on. I think this will be our highest attendance yet. So we will don the hairnets or whatever we have to, the gloves, and gladly serve our parents on these 3 days. So hopefully we'll be able to see you during that time. Of course, Thanksgiving break is coming up on the 25th through the 29th. We will make the Teacher of the Year announcement on December the 10th. Miss Courtney, if she's not already done that, she will get with you and we will quietly go into the schools, if you would please, and make a presentation. Hope you enjoyed that last year. Yes? And we'll do that again this year, okay? We'll break for Christmas break around the 23rd. We're working on an early release on that Friday prior to. So we're just making sure that we get everybody fed, and we'll release that information for the elementary school and for the high school probably early next week, okay? So we've been working on that. I want our parents to have plenty of notice. Professional development, legacy banquet. All of our employees, we need to mark that date. We're excited about that opportunity. It was a great time last year. We'll do it again this year. Mardi Gras is 3rd through the 5th of March. And then you see we've got Special Olympics. This year is being hosted in Gulf Shores. Showcase of the Arts. Please mark this on your calendar. This is the first time we've done this. And we're going to show off all of our arts programs to the community on this particular day. Much more information coming out in regards to that very soon. Prom, and then remember, it's a late spring break this year. First time we've done it like this. So hang in there. We'll test right before that and then have our spring break. We'll see how that goes. Graduation's already set. Senior awards banquets and so forth. Any questions in regards to the event calendar? I think I said everything I needed to say. Early dismissal was the only thing I wanted to add to that. And Mr. McKinney, I want to, as an announcement, I probably should have done this during guests, but this person is really not a guest. We have former board member, Ms. Tracy Stark, with us tonight, and we're so excited that you're here with us. Would you stand and be recognized and then walk on stage? We've got a presentation. You'll come on stage. We've got a little gift, and of course, you notice we want to do photos. That concludes our announcements and photos.
No more moving chairs?
It's a good thing they roll, right?
Well, thank you. So let's roll right into the action items, and if you'll start with personnel, please.
Yes, sir. Superintendent recommends approval of the following personnel items for the 24-25 school year. Sir, I'll ask if there are any set-asides.
I see none.
We have recommendations tonight for certified employees. We have a few classified employees as far as retirement and employment is concerned. And, of course, matters are as they are attached.
Thank you. You've had an opportunity to see the packet. The chair would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Bauer, second by Ms. Robinson. Discussion? Seeing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries.
Action item number 2, we've got a recommendation tonight for the approval of the attached Director of Bands contract for Mr. Justin McCall. If we receive a first and a second, I'd like to make a few comments.
Have a recommendation, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Nix, second by
Second.
Dr. Bauer. Comments?
As we've done in the past, once someone has kind of been on, someone on a trial period, we often extend their contract to 3 years when it's head coaches and so forth. I did a 2.5 only because Mr. McCall came in January, and this would give him a July 1 start. So I explained that to him. I'd like to try to get all 12-month employees best we can, beginning on July 1. Mr. McCall has done an outstanding job since he's been here. Our band has grown significantly, both quantity and in quality. Received several superior ratings at marching band festivals this past year. And one of the things I'm really most proud of was the Veterans Day performance, where he put 75 kids on stage at one time. That was a remarkable evening. Of course, he is a veteran himself, and sometimes I forget that he's just so young, but just did a great job. He and Miss Taylor Holly with the middle school bands. Of course, we've added, Miss Grace Stanton over the last couple of years just did an outstanding job with Puffs. Just really excited with the direction of our arts program. So would love for you to entertain this tonight and approve him. And he's not just deserved, but he's earned every bit of it.
Additional discussion or comments? Seeing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. Next item.
Superintendent recommends board approval of the attached financial statements.
The chair would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion for approval by Ms. Robinson, second by Ms. Nix. Discussion. Seeing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 4.
The superintendent recommends board approval of the apparel bid to BSN Sporting and Varsity Brands.
Chair would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Bauer, second by Ms. Nix. Discussion. Seeing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Action item number 5, the superintendent recommends board approval to purchase the velocity-based training equipment from Elite Form at a cost of $114,200.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Dr. Bauer, second by,
Second.
Ms. Nix. Discussion. Seeing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Board policies.
Action item number 6, the superintendent recommends board approval of the following policies: procurement, records retention. This is the second and final reading of both board policies, proposed board policies.
Chair would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Nix, second by Ms. Robinson. Any further discussion on this? Seeing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries.
Action item number 7, superintendent recommends board approval of the attached career and technical education handbook.
Chair would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Have a motion by Dr. Bauer, second by
Second.
Ms. Robinson. Discussion. Seeing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. Discussion items.
We have one discussion item this evening. It is the compendium of policy, procedures, and plans. You see a brief narrative there that describes the information contained within. We're trying to do this so that we can be prepared for compliance monitoring, and really put everything in one location, okay? A lot of work that's gone into this over the last couple of weeks, months. So you see your policies there, and we distinguish between what is policy and what is procedure. You see the code of conduct, board policy, our salary schedules, our job description manual, the Board of Education board member manual. It's all there in one location. And then you see the procedures. We've still got to add one curriculum guide there. So we've got Orange Beach City Schools accounting manual, the handbooks for high school, elementary school. We've got the curriculum guides in there. And then we've just got a pile of plans. Of course, to me, the most important is that of our strategic plan, which is charting the course. You've all seen that. We've got a consolidated plan that's primarily for Title I. We've got a continuous improvement plans for the elementary school and for the high school, and they have committees that develop these plans, and those plans coexist with our strategic plan. There's a gifted education plan, there's a special education plan, there's another consolidated programs plan, there's a foster care plan, there's a foster care transportation plan. There are all types of migrant plans, as you can see. There is an N&D plan, or a couple of plans for neglected and delinquent students. There's a professional development plan. There's an English language learner plan. There are types of homeless plans. We've got a communication plan, which is part of my PLP that we're working on this year. We need to add the technology plan, counseling plan, career technical, the advisory council manual, and the library media handbook. You're not going to be quizzed on all of this, by the way.
Well, thank you for putting all of this in
Yes.
one place.
Yes.
All right, I mean, this is huge.
Yeah. I don't think people realize sometimes, I know they don't, because they just don't know what all central office does. But we have to be compliant with all of these matters, and for us to have developed all this over the last 2 years, it's pretty remarkable. And we're ready, I said, we're almost ready, Mr. Gray, for compliance monitoring today. But it's not until April. So there might be some amendments to this, but I want to roll this out as a discussion item, and probably, I'm going to work on some verbiage, not necessarily that you approve the compendium, which is the contents. I don't want to get into a situation where you're approving plans and procedures, because you're a policy group. You designate to the local schools and to the superintendent designee to do all those things, but I think we need a stamp of approval on the big document, just to say, we know those things exist. Mr. Campbell, I may have to get with you to kind of work on a little bit of that verbiage, but you know, I won't, policy is absolutely board approved, but there's some procedures and things that are going to change over time, and you don't want me or anyone to have to bring these back each time there's an adjustment to it. So, like the handbooks and things, there'll be a lot of changes with that, the curriculum aspect of things. Questions about this?
Once it goes live, where would it be located?
We're probably going to have to figure out with Ms. Cherney where it goes on the website, but it needs to be in a very obvious place.
Yes.
Certainly, a lot of it's needed under federal programs, but she also needs some under gifted and special education. There's just some general things in here like the accounting manual and so forth. So it's all inclusive. It probably needs its own special button on the homepage. One-stop shopping. And I want to thank all the staff of Central Office for their hard work.
Absolutely.
We still got some work to do, but I wanted the board, I didn't, probably bring something to you in December if we feel like we have combed that 243-page document and have everything in it that needs to be in it, so you don't have to come back and do it again. We're good?
Yes.
All right. Ms. McKinney, that's all the discussion items. If it's okay with the board, maybe we could hang back afterwards and briefly talk about some dates for a retreat or something,
Yes, sir.
instead of having to keep people back to look at our calendars.
Okay.
So that's okay.
All right. You want to make your request?
There is no executive session tonight. So, and there are no further action items.
There is no executive session.
And there are no more action items.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Maybe.
Next meeting, a work session will be at 4:30 on December the 12th. And we will figure out a way to word it to where we can convene the board meeting immediately following the work session.
Get Mr. Campbell on that as well.
Is that possible?
Put the notice as work session at 4:30 with board meeting to immediately follow.
Thanks.
So,
And that's not what's on this sheet, but that's, I'm changing that now.
But we can do
I
that.
assume it would be like we changed the time last month,
Okay.
right?
Give public notice and send it
Public
out.
notice.
Public notice sent out.
Send it to all the
Work
parents.
session starts at 4:30, board meeting follows immediately thereafter. Of course, we'll probably take a 5-minute restroom break, but. All right. What's so funny? Every one of you want one.
Just the 50 and older crowd.
All right. Seeing nothing else, the chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Robinson, second by Ms. Nix. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We are adjourned.